All right, so welcome guys again. And today we'll be talking about some old archives or some old designs that I've done that I feel like, I believe I could have done better, and I'm just realizing the mistake based on the experience or the kind of people I've worked with or the companies I've worked with. And I just believe that a lot of us here will be able to learn something from what I'm about to say this night. Let's start. So my name is Damola, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with me. And I currently work as a product designer in Cassava, and Cassava is an insurance company, micro insurance company actually. So they are basically into insurtech. And I'm also a product manager at a couple of places, NASA, DX Options, DABA, so many other companies like that. You understand? But so as a product manager, right, I always work with product designers. They are most likely going to be my first contact, where my idea or the idea of my business owner or my boss, there's a big chance that we need to have a meeting and we'll discuss. We'll have this kind of like concept we want to follow. One of the obvious concepts used to follow is a sample site. You understand? So we might not really have enough time to be doing wireframing, site mapping, high, all this type of thing. We don't really have the time. We just want to get to work. And because of this, because we know we'll be passing through all these processes, what we did was that we actually, created a time where we created a kind of like system. And that system is going to kind of like the system is going to help us to, decide faster and build products like very, very fast. In fact, to start to design and to launch a landing page could take about just 2 days or 3 days because of some of these systems that we put in place. But 2 years ago, it wasn't like this for me. Every time I'm experiencing a new product, I'm to design a new design I'm to design a new product, I'll most likely be spending weeks trying to put things in place. And another thing is that there are times whereby the owner or the client is reviewing my work. So let's say the button, right? I'll probably have done 50 screens. And the company says, or the reviewer or the client says that it doesn't like the font on my button, right? So you know what I used to do? I'll have to start picking all the buttons one after the other. And I'll now start changing the fonts. And because of this take a lot of time, I kind of learned in a very, very hard way. I spent series of long, because I didn't probably learn with a course, or I did not learn under someone. I kind of like self-taught myself. So I learned with blood, that kind of thing. I learned with time. And it kind of forced me to know the long shot and the shortcut of things at the end of the day, which I would say that there's no knowledge that is wasted. So let's start, right? This one is setting up a project cover. As simple and as, I don't know, wherever it is, this is a very, very important thing that I do. In fact, it got to a time that I had to go over all my drafts and I start creating covers for them just to make it look very beautiful like this. You understand? So one of the first things that I don't actually used to do was I don't create project covers. I just like start. So obviously some of you just go to your Figma and then you do something like new design file, right? So most of you actually, there's a big chance that you are not going to even, this is the first thing you should do. You should always give the title of your project, you understand? So let's say a class, put it there. And the first thing you should do is that when you are drawing your frame or you want to draw your box, whatever, you need to create a cover. So just go over here and then type class. You understand? So this text size is too big, but let's assume this one's want to work with, right? And coming, and I'm going to probably shrink it and put it here. And one of the next things I used to do is I just have to put some sort of like status. Understand? So I can say version 1. Okay, it could be versions, it could be status, or it could even be the two. You could do something like this and say ongoing. Understand? So or just make it look cool. Right. And you can just design it any way you want to design it. So just make it look pretty. And the next thing you are going to do now is that you can, some of you that used to name your frames, I don't do that. So this is just for the class. Just click on this and set it as a thumbnail. So that even when you are looking for it on your draft, you can easily spot it, like the way it's looking. Very beautiful. And if you look at some of my projects, most of these are like that. You understand? So everything, I don't eventually read all these titles. This is what I look at. This is what I'm looking for, and I just click it. So that's one of the things that I don't do about 2 years ago. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let me go to my original account. And then let me go to my drafts. Sorry, still loading. Okay, so if you decide to scroll down, you'll be seeing things like this untitled. In fact, I still did last month or 1 month ago, which is very, very inappropriate. I don't like it. It's not good. It doesn't make you organize. And as a designer, you should learn to, stop it. You should learn to, prepare yourself, prepare your files, and don't just leave things like this. And this project, for example, is a project I started about, I think, last year, and you can see how empty and ugly it is. So it's better. So let me check my drafts. Okay, so if you scroll down 2 years ago, 5 years ago, sorry, 3 years ago, 1 year ago, you'll be seeing a lot of this. Look at this. Some of my projects I've done. Ilta, Blue Valley, and you see it's looking really ugly compared to now, where I have to create covers for each of them, right? So it's a very massive upgrade in this context. So learn to draw a project template, project cover first, okay? It's very important. The next one is setting up a team. So because Figma has been collecting cash, you can, if you want to set up a team, what I did, I'm not saying all of you should do it. I just had to find my way around it. What I did was that I don't need to actually be ashamed to say this. I'm a teacher. So I turned my account into a student, a teacher, educator. And it allowed me to be able to create teams. I know they gave us just 2 years to be able to do something like this, but maybe after my education, whatever expires, I should be able to start paying. And I don't mind paying, but Figma is very, very expensive, to be honest. We are not paying for it yet, but I know how much paid account actually. I think I've seen close to 400K per year. I think so. I'm not so sure that Figma is collecting. Understand? It's a lot of money, $15 or so. So because it might not pay us, it's better you just kind of like create your account. But 2 years ago, we actually had the opportunity to create unlimited files or create unlimited teams. So they don't have to charge us. I know it's recently that they introduced that you need to pay. But my whole point is that if you have the chance, it's very, very important, or it makes sense that you have your team and you have this organization. Okay, the one that goes for marketing, we create a project, right? One that is about the component library, one that is about the product. You have them in place, something like this. So I believe one of my teammates must have created this Untitled, and you can see how it just disturbed the whole structure of how we organized this particular team. Okay, so yeah, team is a very, very important aspect of what I do now. I don't do it before, but look at this is makes me really, really very, very organized. And if I want to present anything to stakeholders, this is where their eyes is. You understand? I don't have to be looking for my files up and down. You understand? So creating a team is another super thing that you can try start implementing. The next thing is creating a design system. And trust me, I wasn't really into design system until like about a year or 2 years ago. I remember the days that I used to argue that we don't need it, especially when you want to launch MVP. I used to tell a lot of designers, we used to argue on Twitter those days. But from the perspective I was coming from the perspective of someone who is I usually launch projects a lot. We don't have the time. In fact, like for example, ILTA as a project or ILTA as a team, we've been existing close to about 4 years now, and this is the year I'm writing design systems. Is that crazy? Understand? So, and I've launched a lot of products. I've made a lot of money from it. But I'm most of the time when I'm about to start a project now, I'll just dedicate about 2 or 3 days to at least design something basic to get started with, you understand? And design system is a very, very funny thing. I'm going to show you guys how I have been using design system to work. It might be a little bit different from, I don't know, maybe this will open your eyes to something. So this is where my component library is, right? This is a particular file that hosts all the systems, you understand? So this is the file that hosts the system. If you go to my account, which is my account for ILTA projects, I have a particular, let me delete this so that it's making me look weird. All right, so I have a particular project called, I think I called it branding and systems here. And this is where the component library is. So I have the system guide, which is what I said I'm currently designing, because I believe I'm going to probably expand very soon. Maybe, I don't know, taking interns and things like that. There's going to be a particular time I might open, but for now we are still very, very small. We're doing things little by little, and I'm basically like documenting things day after day when I have the time. But one of the basic things I do, okay, is I don't really have to do all these ones. This is documentation. So instead of making it a documentation for now, what I just did is I just started like this. Start from here. You understand? So I'll basically for alerts, I designed an alert, then I showed a sample of it on how it can be used. You understand? And how it's going to be used on the mobile screen. Then obviously this is a component for the avatars I also created, and I showed a sample of how it's going to look like, right? The badges, breadcrumb buttons, everybody knows design system, right? Or basic components creation and the likes. So every time I'm designing, so let's say have a class down to design. So let me go to this. And I have published this component. So just come to assets, click on this icon, say you want to publish it. Okay, you can publish it. Sometimes you need to actually set it up from the onset. So let's say you are done with this. You've done all the components, cards, radio, charts, how the chart is going to look like, the forms, the keyboards, the icons that you want to use, iconography, illustrations. You've basically like point out everything. You've made components out of everything, right? You will now start making instances. You'll move everything to system guide and start making documents out of it. So some people like this style. And then some people like this style, which is what we are using at Cassava, for example. So this person kind of like wrote it one after the other. I don't like this style. This style is actually cool. For example, if I decide to play it, it's good for presentation purpose. So while this is loading, let me just show you how to make use of it, which is one of the best ways to use component library, which I really, really like. So what I do is that I go to the asset and I search for anything. You can just, and that was the point of some of these emojis that I used just to make it look very cool and look very, very sweet. So I kind of put emojis in front of it to give it this look. So it's easy for me to actually note, even without having to read what it means. I can use emojis to know that, okay, I'm looking for alerts. So I can just go over here, scroll. Let's say I'm looking for calendar. I'll just scroll down, right? Pick one. I can just drag it. So this will avoid me having to design this all over again when I'm about to start a project. So it really, really makes sense for product designers to must have settled all this, or whether now or later, or side by side, you are creating systems alongside your project, you understand? So that when anybody is coming to collaborate with you, you can just, they have access to your component library. Like I said, component library as a file hosts all the component. It's not like when you now get to another design, you now start creating component. If you eventually create component, which is not bad, because you might discover some things along the line that, oh, I might need a nav bar, I might need new things or new components. You can basically turn it to a component, copy it, and go back to your component library, paste it over there, then republish the component library, activate it on your file, and start and continue using it. That's basic. So my design system and my product design projects are beside each other in terms of like tab by tab. Understand? So this is one way. So you can see colors, typography, icons, logo usage, dashboard. So this person kind of, I wasn't know that I did this actually. It was one of the designers in Cassava, because we worked together. So this is a very, very cool way to present your design system, which is, or document it, which is actually very cool. And I also implemented it for projects like this. I did this for Paintite, for Bonus, a company called Bonus Pay. And I don't have to actually go too far. You can see the design is different, but is basically the same thing, right? It's the same experience, you understand? And this really, really look a lot, very, very cool. And it's something that you can be using over time when you're working on, or you're expanding your project, you understand? So this is one of those things that I actually had to include in my workflow that I don't do before. If I'm going to show you a project like that to make it very, very, interesting. So I did a project 2 years, 2 years ago. It's called Spotter App. This project has a lot of funny story. That, let's say the client comes to meet me and say, Damola, I need to do this app. He gave me all the presentation, gave me all the whatever, right? And he told me, you are going to be designing the mobile app, and you'll be designing the web app. You also do corporate dashboard. That's the admin dashboard for the user. Okay, so it's like both. So both as regular users, and both also have the second type of user, which is the driver. And they have their own dashboard, you understand? So that's like 3 admin types, or 2 admin types, then 1 user type. Then this is the in-house app. And then we have the landing pages, which is the website. So I started doing the work. I started working on it. You can see the button is not in component. Continue, all this. And okay, this one is in component. I think I learned component later on, but I've already started the project a long time ago. And so there was this day, the man said he doesn't like the rounded edges. I had to start doing something like this. Start marking all of them. I marked. That's if you count this screen, look at how long it is. This is about 700 screens. I have to look for all of them one after the other, marked it, then I now set it up. Understand? So, and that was really funny. That was really crazy. You understand? And this happened again and again and again. It got so tiring that I was already getting depressed. That what sort of job is this? Why did I collect this job? No design system, no star guide. I just learned all these ones. Because so this is not the original project. Okay, you can say I put Mosque. They've sent me out of they kicked me out of that. So they kicked me out of that file. So I had to duplicate this one. I knew they were going to kick me out. I was already suspecting. So what I did was I quickly went there, duplicated it because I need it for my portfolio because this is an amazing job. The design was dope. In fact, I'm currently writing a case study on it. So I have to start redesigning all these things one after the other now that I've learned a lot. I started creating components. I'm basically redesigning this application. Okay, so I'm making a case study out of it. But before then, my God, I had to start picking. So let's say they want to change the font. Let's assume they say the font for something maybe they don't like, or they need to change the font size. Now I have to look for all the things that it was just stressful, you understand? In fact, I just recently learned that I can just go to edit, then select all with the same property. And it would have picked it like this for me. And I can now make my decision and say, okay, I want to increase the font or something. I want to change the color. I didn't even know all those ones before. So I'd start picking anything that looks like 14. I'll start. God. 4 months. I was still doing design. And the funny thing is that this app was, I think the contract was 3 weeks. I wanted to die. I told him I'm not doing it again. The guy said, you charge me to court. Blah, blah, blah. We'll go to court. They say, Oga carry me to court. Maybe law, the judge will hear that. The judge will actually maybe understand that, bros, do you want to kill this boy? You understand? He's a young boy, don't kill him. But when I heard from a professional lawyer and he was like, nobody's going to care because you signed the contract. So if you like, if you use 1 year to do 3 weeks project, that's your business. You should have known better. Understand? So yeah, so this is how, at least I'm going to probably just end this class for now as the class 1, the way we do it, so that we can join the class, after this next point. So we can join the class and we can continue, so we can have like breaks. Understand? So after, in the next 9 minutes or next 8 minutes, please join this link again. Just reload your Zoom and join this link again, and we can continue the class. So designing component library design system, it's a very important thing that you need to set up during the project, before the project, or even after it. Sometimes because of your rushing, just keep designing, right? Keep creating the components inside your design. When you are done with the app, or you must have submitted or handover, you can now start picking or looking for all your components. You now pack all of them, create a file for it, move all of them there, then create a publishing. You understand? So create a publishing out of it, publish it, and let the other files have effect of it. You understand? So you can basically start doing find and replace. Understand? So that is another thing that you should keep doing. So let's move to the next one, creating a star guide. So I've basically talked about star guide from the old design system thing. Star guide is very important because, in fact, you need to make sure that all your colors are in star guide, or you can see the way it is, where I can basically go to, let me look at what is the name of this brand primary. So I can go to brand primary and say, I don't like this color anymore. Everyone, let's go this route. Let's go blue. Understand? And I save it. And that's funny. Everything is actually supposed to pick. Oh, I'm coming. Let me see. Okay, that's because it's maybe another place. Let me see if I can change it over here. Okay, so I can say that, guys, it's just go this route. And wherever it's showing, it should reflect over there. So this one has reflected. So my point is, I don't know why it's fixed, is looking like this. I will probably look at it later on. So my point is that you can take decisions like this because you have a design system or you have a start. Okay, it's now loading. Sorry, that's internet. Can you guys hear me? I think the internet went off because of my inverter just went off now. So the point I'm trying to make is that setting up your color codes or color styles, blah blah blah, trying to make sure that they are looking very, very clean. We make it to be able to change, colors and all those. Make sure that anything you are doing, okay, when you see something like this, okay, just go over here. You can just do something like, probably you forgot or you're just typing. Okay, you forgot. You can just say select all with the same property, then you give it a color. Bam, everybody, change. And by the time all of them have changed, you can see you're now updating. So basically, there's a lot of updates that is going. Okay, and you can easily change, you can easily change the color later on when you guys have more, maybe you did some research. And first saying, I can't see your text, your hash is too harsh or it's too faded. You can take decisions from your style guide rather than having to, for example, having to visit all the colors and start look at this one now. You can see there's no design system. I have to, for example, if I decide to change a color now, if the guy says he wants to go this route, I have to start picking all the blue buttons and start, it's just a lot of stress. I did it for a lot of my projects, a lot of it, and it has been really, really stressful. And I don't want people to make mistakes of such. So before we end this class, does anybody have any question that you'd like to ask, so that we can dedicate the next class to learn about, okay, we've talked about component value. So we'll talk about organized file pages as the next thing. Okay. So anybody have any question? If you have any questions, just raise your hands and I'm going to release the mic for you. Then release the mic or allow you to talk. Okay, user. Okay, caller, can you talk? Caller Johnson. Please just unmute your
mic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much, Moski. I'm really enjoying the class. My question is about design system. I just want to ask, what's your view or what can you advise about, because I've heard a lot of view. People will say, create a design system from scratch. Some people will say there's nothing wrong with copying a design system and using it, but it's a bit tedious. I mean, I've taken your course on the bootcamp. I'm on the WhatsApp, but I saw what you did on design system and style guide. It's tedious. What can you recommend? Can I just copy a design system and make life easy for myself? Yeah, so that's what I want to ask.
Okay. Okay. So, does anybody have any other question? I saw some people raising their hands. Daniel. Please, if you are not asking questions, just lower your hand so that I can see those answers. Daniel Godo, please, you can unmute your mic.
All right, thank you so much, Muskie. I really appreciate this class. I'm enjoying it. The question I have is in regards to still design system, but I would ask mine in this sense. If I'm to create a design system, do I need to personalize it? Does it have to be personalized? Or is it based on the project I intend to handle in the future? For example, let me say I do more of web design or mobile application. Is it specified? Or I should just have a design system that kind of covers every area?
Okay. So yeah, I guess so sometimes some of the questions you guys ask tend to inspire my next class. So maybe one day we'll talk about design system as a real class. It's tedious, I'll be honest with you. In fact, 1 month they're still doing it, 2 months, 3 months, they're still doing it. So let me allow Tosin ask his or her question, then the next class would would join. So Patrick, sorry, we'll come to you. Don't worry. So Tosin, please.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you for this class. I really appreciate it. I feel very lucky because I actually stumbled on your link somewhere where I was yours. So I'm very happy that I'm here. So my question, I have 2 questions. I have a question on this component library. So I'm having a hard time making component libraries because sometimes I might create a component of something and then I found that if I'm doing another design, I don't want to use that component anymore. Like I'll have to go back, change it. Then I realized that even if I change it, there are sometimes it will not change. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain?
Okay, so you know what? Okay, you know what? Let's join again. I'm so sorry. Timer is ready. So Tosin, once you join, just let me hear from you. Just raise your hands immediately. Benjamin also. All right, guys. See you soon.